So, hey, here we are again at another episode of Inspired Good Fat Life. And my topic today, we're going to talk about BMI. But before we get that, we're just going to talk for a second about making those little changes. So, living a good fat life is a journey. And it's just as taking what comes, what presents, and working with it. So it was a holiday. And my husband and I were at the Jersey Shore and then in New York City. And so there were lots of opportunities to eat lots of carbs that I normally don't eat. But how can you just say no? And I found that there was little things. I was so delighted when we got home that I didn't gain any weight. And so that was really kind of a cool thing, even though I did eat some of the things that I don't normally eat, and I just loved it. But the point is like little things like bagels, like so we had lox and cream cheese with bagels, but picked the fluff out of the bagel. So it's kind of like a bagel cavity, and filled it more with cream cheese and lox and just little things. And we walked boatloads, which is good because we can. So I'm noticing that when I fall off, I don't fall as far as I used to because of taking those little steps. And one of the things, the reason that we're having the conversation today about BMI is because on my scale, when I get on my scale every morning, it weighs me and then it gives me my BMI. Well, for those of you who aren't familiar what BMI is, it's a body mass index is what it stands for. And this is what just blows me away. It was identified by a statistician in the 1830s. A Belgian statistician wanted to identify what the average Belgian man looked like. So there's a couple things there that are really kind of critical to this conversation. It's the average Belgian man from the 1830s. And so these numbers the scale was created. And just for clarification, so you're considered underweight on the BMI if you're 18.5 or below. Normal is 18.5 to 24.9. Overweight is 25 to 29.9, and then obese is considered 30 or greater. Well, on my scale, I kind of was hovering between 28, 29. It'll always vary a little bit depending on your weight. And then COVID hit, and, I start every now and then popping over to 30. Well, getting told by your scale that you are obese in the first thing in the morning just kind of gives you that little nagging annoyance for the day. So, and I've seen it used as a statistic often when going to the doctor. And so I wanted to know more. Well, here's the deal. It's really not a number that we need to be concerned with or worried about because there's so many variations. And, a 6'5" guy from African America is going to have a different body chemistry than 5'3" me from Eastern Europe, female from Eastern Europe. It's just we're all made different, and so our BMIs are going to present differently. And the danger of it is if it's like anything else, if it's not used in a kind of a proactive way, if it's used as an average, we can get lumped as something, categorized as overweight with all that comes with that before we've even kind of got out of the box. And so the research is showing there's a lot more negative reasons to look at BMI than positive ones. So I want to just give you a little bit of, if you're concerned about that, just throwing it out. Sometimes we get attached to stuff. So a study was recently done at the University of California, Los Angeles, and UC Berkeley that measured the BMIs of more than 40 American adults. Now, I don't know what the makeup of these American adults were. But here's the part that is important, even if they were all identically the same, is that they were, so they looked at BMI and the results of the metabolic tests, meaning medical tests that indicate risk for diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. And the tests included blood work, that it was triglycerides, cholesterol, glucose, insulin resistance, and C-reactive protein, as well as blood pressure. And here's what they found: that nearly half of those who were overweight and 29% of those who were obese were metabolically very healthy. So that meant that their blood work showed that they were really healthy. So that's over half of people that were in the overweight category, and 29%, almost 30% of the people that were considered overweight were actually quite healthy. By the converse, those that were considered in the healthy BMI range, 30% of them had unhealthy blood work. So that's just another piece of information to, when we're looking at our numbers. And one of the things that really came up as I was going through this is the importance of knowing our numbers. But it's not just knowing our numbers, because I'm a numbers girl, is what numbers should we know and should we pay attention to? So with that, over the next year with Good Fat Life, we're going to really dive into, those handful of numbers that we really should pay attention to, because there's so much information, and I mean, we're bombarded all day long with stuff. So let's just really be sure that we can raise our awareness and weed out the stuff that's important and just kind of like ignore the rest. So that said, I do want to tell you about some really exciting things that are coming up at Good Fat Life. We have a summit. We're going to have a live summit this fall, so stay tuned on that. And then also, we have a new issue coming out, which is very exciting. I've just been meeting so many interesting people. There's a lot of people doing some really cool stuff out in the world today. And so I can't wait to share all of that. So go to goodfatlife.com and check out our events page and our new issue. Sign up to get notified when the new issue comes out. And then also, I really want to do a shout out for our sponsor today for Hands-On Health Chiropractic. My grandfather was a chiropractor. He graduated in 1945. So he was way ahead of his day. And I have to tell you that when we first moved to town, to Brighton 17 years ago, the very first thing that I did was look for a chiropractor. And I'm so happy that I found the chiropractor that I go to and love. It's Hands-On Health. They have a number of great people there and massage therapists, and it's just a joy being in their space because they are so proactive and healthy and vibrant, and I just can't say enough about the service that they provide. Plus, they're just good people. So that said, go out and live your good fat life.